2,475 metres, the length of 25 football pitches, the longest recorded kill of all time. Craig Harrison, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Not bad, mate. It's a pleasure to have you on. You're the second army member. We had a former US Marine on early on in the sort of show's age, but now we've got you on. How you been coping, pal?
Yeah, been good. Yeah. Some days are better than others, but you just get on with it, don't you?
Yeah. You've got that title, the longest recorded. Is it the longest recorded sniper kill or the longest recorded kill? Which one is it?
It's longest recorded kill. It's been broken now. I think two Australians fired simultaneously and hit a target over 2 miles, and they didn't know which one, so they took it. And then the Canadian SF team shot a target from over 3 miles away. But they got 50 cows, so a 50 cow can go 4 Ks plus, and that's pretty long distance. Mine is a 338 and only goes 1,500 meters. So
we were a bit pissed off that they broke it, or what?
Not really. I still hold it for the smaller caliber, but records are there to be broke, aren't they? So
true. Yeah. How does it feel to have that title then, pal?
It doesn't sink in. I didn't go out that day to break the world record. I went out that day to do an operation on the ground, and I saved 12 guys at the same time, and that was the whole point of the operation.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how does it feel, your greatest achievement, if you are? It's probably not your greatest achievement, but the one you're most known for. You've written a book about it. You're going to speak about it today. How does it feel that achievement is related to killing someone? I was going to ask that question, but then in my mind I was like, well, actually, as you said, it's actually your greatest achievement because you saved 12 people, as opposed to killing one.
Yeah. I killed 2 guys that I killed from that distance, and it's not all about the killing. It's about what you do as a sniper. Your main priority is to take lifetime information of the battlefield. So you're there giving overwatch, and if shit hits the fan, and then you step up a gear, and that's when you start, looking for your scope and operating that trigger. And that's what happened on the day. And I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and perfect weather as well.
Yeah. Talk to me about that lifetime information, the process of being a sniper, because the closest that many of these people that are watching this video, unless you're Brian Chontosh or someone like that, even himself, he wasn't a sniper, he was just a Marine. So, well, not just a Marine, but the closest they would have got would probably be Call of Duty. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's,
yeah.
I presume, not very realistic.
Yeah.
What is the true process of being a sniper in the army like, and what do you have to do?
Basically, you get a mission, and then you work in a pair. So there's 2 of you that go out, and number 1 is usually the better shooter, and number 2 is usually the better at the mathematics side of things and the wing calculation. But my number 2 was, we were both the same, so we took it in turns behind the rifle, sort of thing, But that particular day that I broke the world record, I was on my own. I just had my driver, and I had to talk him through how to use the scope, the spotting scope, But when you get a mission, you go on the ground and you have to observe that target. You have to get as much information in as possible of that target, and then you get the green light. Otherwise, to take that target out or to leave him alone, and we've got enough information to arrest that person and prosecute him for whatever he's doing. So it's not all about taking a target out, but if he is proceeded to do some damage or he's about to do something, and then you got the green light to take that target out, and that's the role of a sniper,
Yeah. What was that guy or those 2 guys rather, that you took out on that day where you got the longest kill, or kills? What were they about to do?
Basically, the operation was to clear a village out, and it was the Afghan army, and they were mixed in with British troops. So the British troops were teaching the Afghan army how to patrol, how to go and do compound clearing, and it just happens they wanted overwatch. So I was on the top of the hill with 4 other wagons with my lads, which is another 12 guys. And as they approached this village, I could see the Taliban queuing up to attack the patrol going in, and they were waiting to get into a kill zone. And now, kill zone is an open bit of land where you've got no cover at all, where you can just open up and do as much damage as possible. And they opened up, so I had to think fast on the ground. I deployed my wagons to go down into the kill zone to block the damage they were doing to the patrol. The patrol pulled back, and I was engaging targets in the village. I could see the Taliban still fighting my lads, and then it went all quiet. And in the distance, I could see like a glitter, and it turned out to be a radio, Taliban on the radio. And I had an interpreter with me, and you have a thing called an icon, and it's tuned into their frequency, and you can hear them talking. And he was queuing up the rest of the Taliban to come down and take my lads out and take the rest of the patrol out. So it took me 9 shots to get there, and I fired, and I called it lobbing in. I lobbed the bullet in. It was well out of my scope picture, well out of my crosshairs, and as I hit the compound wall, it made a splash of dust, because it's all dry. It's made of mud and straw and sheep shit and God knows what. And it just made a splash. So I know I hit the compound wall. And next bit I knew, the icon chatter went dead. And the guy on the radio, I asked the interpreter what's he saying. He said he can't direct anyone on to the attack because he's getting shot at from somewhere. And that somewhere was from me, And then it went all quiet on the firing down the kill zone, and I was still observing through my scope. And next thing I knew, I saw my lads hit the ground, and it was like loads of splatter, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So I checked everywhere that I engaged the target, everywhere that I saw the Taliban, and I couldn't find anything. The only thing I didn't spot was where I shot the interpreter earlier, to get his head down. And as I looked up, I could see two guys laying down with a PKM, and a PKM's a Russian machine gun. It can be magazine fed with a round magazine, or it can be belt fed. And it was belt fed, this one. And one was feeding him, and the other one was just firing and spraying down onto my lads. So I fired my first shot because I knew my calculations from when I did the 9 shots to hit the compound wall.
Yeah.
So I fired my first shot and I missed. I fired my second shot, and the guy that was feeding the machine gun, he stood up and I hit him in the side and he fell down. And then I fired my third shot. But as I fired my third shot, I moved my rifle over and fired my fourth shot. So I had 2 bullets in the sky, in the air at the same time.
Is that something that you're taught, or?
No, I just
did it.
Yeah, I just did it off my own head. I thought, well, if I'm going to miss the third one, the fourth one's going to hit him. And that's how it panned out. The third one missed. And the guy stood up to pick the machine gun up, and I hit him in the stomach. And the only reason why I knew I hit him is because we tried to retrieve the weapon, but the weapon had already gone and the bodies were still there.
It all sounds very... Listen, don't take this the wrong way. To me, it sounds exciting, because you're like, oh my God, you're picturing it a movie, in my head, because I've never been in that situation. I've rarely even seen real life footage of it, I don't really, it's not too much of that sort of stuff on YouTube, at least that what I've seen. But, so I'm looking at it, it's exciting, like a video game, like a movie. What is your emotions to it now and back then? Was it exciting back then? Were you scared? What was going through your head at the time?
Clear mind. You got to clear your mind, because if you're thinking about other things, you're not going to achieve your goal. As in, you're not going to have a clear mind to take them shots, And I've been a sniper on previous tours, so I've taken people out. So that fear of killing someone wasn't there. Do you know what I mean? Like my first kill, I thought I was in trouble. I thought I was going to get a tap on the shoulder and say, "Can we have a quiet word with you, please?" But it wasn't like that. So I was quite calm like that. But I knew that I had to calm my heart down. I had to calm my breathing down, and I had to engage the shot to save 12 people that were pinned down by this machine gun. So, yeah.
Do you know these people that are going into that sort of kill zone as well?
Yeah, they're my lads. I started off with, my last tour, I started off with 16 guys, and I came back with 6 original guys. So, yeah, not through death, through amputees, getting blown up and stuff like that. So it was quite of a hard tour, because people think it's full on action. It's not like that. It's like you can have a whole day and not do anything. You can have a whole week and not do anything, But being a sniper, you're an asset on the ground. So every time a patrol goes out, you end up going out as well to give them cover. So there's certain, being a sniper is quite exhausting.
Yeah. You said you were up on the hill for this particular shot. What goes through my head is like, again, I can only relate it to a video game because that's the only situation I've ever been in. But I don't want to be standing still. I feel like if you can see them, they can see you potentially. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you scared of being sniped yourself because you're not moving about, you're not behind anything, you're sort of exposed, aren't you? And how do you identify a good place to post up? Do you know what I mean? And what's that process like?
Well, everyone thought I was lying down, but I wasn't. I stood up when I did my shot. I was leaning against the wall. And I wasn't tucked in like you tuck yourself in behind the sniper rifle. I wasn't tucked in because every shot that I fired, the wall was falling apart. So I had to force, on my tripod to try and not make this wall fall down anymore. But we always get taught 20 minutes. It takes 20 minutes for the enemy to flank you. And that's what we got taught. In Afghan, it takes 20 minutes for the Taliban to flank you.
What does flank you mean?
Come to your side, go around you, so they're attacking you from the rear or they come to the side of you.
Got you.
And I remember seeing this guy 675 yards away, and he was just static. And I thought, is he a marker? Are they going to come around and flank me? But it ended up that guy knocked a water well pump off and it flooded the irrigation ditch, and that's why my lads couldn't get out in their vehicles because they were flooded. They were stuck in. But yeah, that was a tense moment. I thought I was going to get flanked, and I only had myself, my interpreter, and my driver with me, and my gunner. It was only us up there, and if 6 or 7 Taliban flanked us, I wouldn't be talking to you now, I don't think. No.
What sort of gear are you keeping on you at the time? Because again, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't keep relating it to COD, but like, a sniper isn't, you can't really shoot that close range, can you? It's not one that you're really wanting to shoot close range. So if you're in close combat, it's not really what you fancy having on you, is it? So what are you keeping, like backup guns in case you do get flanked and stuff like that? And what have you got on you?
Yeah, basically you got your SA-80, so you got a mag of 30 in that SA-80. Plus you carry...
What's that? What are those? What does that mean?
An SA-80 is the military weapon, military rifle, and the magazine holds 30 rounds, which goes into the rifle. And then I've got a Glock on my side arm, which has got 15 rounds in the magazine. So that's for close combat, short combat, the rifle, long combat. I've got my sniper rifle. So and plus I had my gunner. And he had a 50 cal on the back of my vehicle, so if anything coming in too close, he could let him rip with the 50 cal as well, But you are carrying a lot of equipment, as a sniper. But you got to think you carrying the radios, you got to carry spare batteries, you got to carry food, you got to carry water, you got to carry extra ammunition for your C-80, you got to carry extra ammunition for your sniper rifle. If you run out of ammunition as a sniper. If you run out of ammunition in your sniper rifle, you're in the wrong place at the wrong fucking time. You should take 2 to 3 shots in a sniper position and then withdraw out and go somewhere else.
Really? Why is that?
Because they find out where you are. But it happened on that day. I was so far away, they didn't have the capability to find out where I was. So
yeah. Have you ever been like, I was just thinking then, I think you were talking about the guy with the radio and stuff like that. Is there ever have you ever been like eyeing someone up, like have, your scope on them and then realise, oh shit, this is like a distraction piece? Or is there like that sort of tactics that goes on?
What, like a deception for them?
Yeah, like a deception. Like they're going, oh, shoot us over here sort of thing with your sniper. And then you're like, yeah, I've got him. and then you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
They don't realise you're on the ground. You're gillied up, you're cammed up, you're inserting in the middle of the night. So when daytime comes, they don't know you're there. And if the only thing that will give you away is your glint or your scope, but you put a bit of cam scrim, which is a bit of thin material with holes in over your scope, and plus it's got a green tint on the lens as well, so it's an anti-glare lens. So you tend to be sneaky beaky, and that's what being a sniper is all about.
Yeah, you're quite on that, because obviously I found you via that Lad Bible video. You look like quite a big fella. How are you being sneaky beaky, mate?
I could be sneaky beaky, Yeah, I've hid in badger sets. I've hid in foxholes when I was training.
Really?
Yeah, if I'm going to fit in somewhere, I'm going to fit in somewhere. Especially if somebody's trying to chase you when you're training.
You're going to make it happen, aren't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. The only thing I couldn't fit in is a rabbit hole, I don't think. But
you say that you sort of inserted in the night, so by daytime they've got no idea that you're there. Is that the night before? Obviously I presume you've got a plan of when you're going to take this person out. Things might not go to plan, so you might have to adjust, and you can maybe tell me a little bit about that and stories that you've got about that. But is it the night before that you're inserted into your position, or is it how long are you posted up for?
A sniper is sustainable on the ground for 48 to 72 hours, but you can be longer. I've been on the ground for 4 days, before I took a target out, and I've been static, just laying on the ground, eating dry biscuits, trying to hydrate myself. And I was catnap through the day, like get 5 minutes in the day, then wake up at night time. You're alert because, they try and do stuff at night as well. And I don't think you've got the capability to watch them, but, you put your night vision on, you end up watching them. And then through there, you relay all the information back, and in that 4 day period, and to keep your brain occupied, I used to make stories up. Like
I was going to say, how do you not get bored? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I used to go, oh, there's Limpy John when his wife coming out. Yeah, his wife's bogging, but she's got a limp as well. She's limps on and you make stories up, of them, and you think, oh, what's happening over there? Oh, there's Rachel coming out to have a wash, and
she's a nightmare though.
Yeah. And you think, I guarantee she's going to chase the chickens, and and you just make stories up to keep your mind occupied, and it's quite hard sometimes because you get to know your target, over the 4 days, and then it comes over the net, take them out. You end up taking the target out.
Yeah. Is that they're telling you on the radio right now, bang, go?
Yeah. You say you got green guns. When you see it, a clear shot, take the shot. And that's when you take the shot.
Yeah. I heard you, obviously you're talking about it now, but I heard you talk about it in that previous interview as well, how it's so personal, snipering, and that almost seems like counterproductive. Like it almost seems not true, right? Because you think it's so far away. You think close combat, close sort of combat is more personal than snipering. But so how is it not? And how is it so personal?
In Afghan itself or Iraq, when you get into a firefight, you end up just shooting, and you don't hardly see them. And you think there's like 20 of them, but they end up being just 2. And they do a thing called shoot and scoot. And but as a sniper, it's more personal. You've got an optic that can look. You can look how many fillings they've got. That's how precise. You see him get up in the morning. You see him spit on the floor, and then you might as well be in their face talking to them personally.
Yeah.
And that's how personal being a sniper is. Because it's that one shot or 2 shots, and then that target's gone.
Yeah. As well, before we move on, about being posted up, I know you must get asked this all the time, but for people that don't know and that haven't seen the Lad Bible video, the bit that I think stands out, obviously the killing and stuff like that stands out, but the fact that how you have a piss and a shit is mental. Talk to me about that, and also in relation to that, which I don't think you got asked on that video, why can't you take your eye off the sight for a quick slash and then come back and keep going? Why is it so like 23 hours or however long it is, I've got to keep looking? Why is it like that?
You got to rest your eyes on the scope, otherwise your eye becomes really tired, so you come off the scope and you keep your eye on the target but at a distance, and then you go back on the scope. What I used to do is you probably do 20 minutes on the glass. I called it the glass on the scope, and then come off, have 5 minutes rest, go back on again. And it's important to keep your eye on the target, because they could shift something. Like they could shift a weapon system, they could shift an IED, a suicide vest, and you got your head on the ground because you're resting your head because you're knackered, and you've missed that opportunity. And then they're asking you, right, take that target out if you see a suicide vest, but you've missed it, and then somebody else is gonna
pay for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How do you go to the toilet then, for the people that don't know?
Well, you carry a little Tupperware tub and some cellophane, and you pull your trousers down and you roll over, and you go for a shit in the cellophane, in the Tupperware. You roll it back up and you put it in your backpack.
Why'd you put it in your backpack?
Because it's ground sign. Leave nothing there. If they had trackers and they came up and saw my poo and had a look at it, they could assess how my morale is, if I'm hydrated.
How can they assess your morale?
Because of what I'm eating, because I'm shitting health. I'm just shitting everywhere. So they must know I've got food. Yeah. I've got food. I've got water. So my morale must be, pretty good. So just take everything away with you. There's no need to leave ground sign. And even when you come out of that position, you go backwards. And as you go backwards, you're covering everything up as you go backwards.
Really?
So nothing's there. Yeah. And for a wee, you just wee yourself. Just wee.
For 4 days, you just had to piss yourself?
Yeah. And because the sun comes up, the sun will bake it dry in the sand. And also, the sun's so hot out there in Iraq and Afghan, it will kill all the bacteria. So you'd be okay.
Do you not have to get? Do you not get like sort of sores down your leg? Did you not end up stinking, or is this all just irrelevant to the fact that you've got a mission to do?
Yeah, you're stinking, but you've got a mission to do. If you stay 4 days still as you like, and you've shit and pissed yourself, you got a beard, you're tired. You're stuck in a sandstorm and everything, everyone else is taking luxury covers in sandstorms and you're still out in it, But that's the life of being a sniper,
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that you're clear-headed. How much is that one of the most difficult things to achieve? Obviously, there's so much science behind being a sniper, and there's so much to it. But is controlling your mind one of the most difficult things, and how do you do that?
Of course it is. I used to go on the ground, and I never used to phone my wife at all. Never used to phone, because I wanted to have a clear mind. She was having dramas at home. I didn't want to know about it. I just wanted to go out with a clear mind. When I used to come back, then I used to phone her up and say, how's everything, then because I've got a bit of downtime before the next mission, so I can clear my mind again, and that's how it works. If I rang her up and she was having trouble and dramas and I go on the ground, that's on my mind, that's playing on my mind constantly, and I'm not going to be on the mission, I'm not going to be focused because that's on my mind, so the idea is to have a clear mind. But she's spot on. I couldn't ask for a better woman behind me. I wish she was my number 2 and I was number 1. That'd be happy days.
Sweet. You're just saying that because you're hoping for a nice dinner tonight, but no.
Yeah.
Is that your best shot that you've ever taken as well? That the longest one?
Yeah, the longest shot. I've engaged targets up to 1,000 yards, 600 meters, stuff like that. But I didn't go out to kill them. Right. I went out to distract him, and it just happens I end up shooting him. It was just pot luck. And I always say it's pot luck, but people go, yeah, but you did it twice. I know I did it twice, but, it's pot luck in my eyes,
Would you say that was your best shot then?
Yeah, without a doubt. People who try to replicate it, in England and in America, and no one can get near it unless you've got a high-powered 50 cal rifle. So I was lucky.
In regards to, obviously, that's not the only tour, that's not the only shot that you've done. In regards to the other tours, what's the most dangerous, scariest tour and moments that you've been in?
One of them was in a building, and it was like an unfinished building, like full of breeze blocks, and it was like a multi-story car park, but it was meant to turn out to be flats. And we were looking down, and the SAS were going in to grab someone, and me and my number two were given overwatch. And as we watched him go in, a car bomb went off outside a mosque, and the mosque was emptying. So as this car bomb went off, it just obliterated loads of people. And then suddenly artillery started coming in, and the SAS did their mission and left. And me and my number two, we had to stay in this building up to an hour after they left to make sure they weren't getting followed. And then we were like 6 floors up, and the only way in this building was in the middle was a spiral staircase. And they were clearing, the insurgents were clearing the building floor by floor, and me and my mate were on the 6th floor. So we had to call in backup to extract us out. And it's the only time that I've ever pulled my pistol out to get out of Dodge. And we had to fire like stun grenades on each floor as we were going down to stun them, to make sure that we weren't going to get followed up. But that was a bit arse twitchy there, yeah.
Yeah. Mate, the fact that you've listen, that is just the most mental situation, and you've called it a bit arse twitchy.
Yeah. And I remember the wagon coming in, and it reversed in through the fence, and it popped loads of smoke, and it popped so much smoke that we couldn't see where the wagon was. So we're running out into the street. We ran past the wagon, the tank that was picking us up, the APZ that was picking us up, and we stopped in the middle of the street thinking, "Oh, right, where is everybody?" So we had to run back. Yeah, it's a funny old night.
we didn't actually talk about how you got into being a sniper, because listen, I mean, there's loads of people there's still loads of snipers, but there's loads of people that can tell you about how to get into army. But I feel like being a sniper and becoming a sniper is a bit different, isn't it? I don't know. You don't see it as much. What was that process like?
Well, my regiment is armed reconnaissance, so it does a lot of. We go quite far in front of everybody and collect as much information as possible. But we're in armoured vehicles like scimitars or Spartans. I think it's changed now. I think they got a new vehicle called Ajax. And there was no such thing. Snipers wasn't in RAC role in my regiment. And then suddenly it changed. So I thought I'd jump on this wagon. So I thought I want to be a sniper. And I remember seeing somebody in Iraq, and he was in a football stadium, and he was an infantry soldier, and he was a sniper, and he was doing Overwatch. And I remember I was just walking around this football stadium, and he was there, and I started talking to him. Do you know what? He didn't look at me once. He stayed on his scope constantly, and I thought the discipline was amazing, and I thought I want to be that. And they got treated like adults as well. So because of what they do, they need to have that level head and not be stressed. And I thought, this is what I want. And I was the only cav guy on the course, and we started off with 30, and I think 4 passed. So it was pretty good.
Because I was going to say, can anyone do it, or are you it sounds a bit mental, but are you particularly good at that at sniping, or is it something that if you put your mind to it, you can do it?
I used to shoot when I was little, when I was youngster, like air rifles and things like that. I used to do triathlons, so I used to ride horses, swimming, running, shooting. Used to do the old bish so shooting. Shooting's the easy part, believe it. It's the snipering that's the hardest part. Right. If you become a sniper, if you do the shooting part, you become a marksman. And then if you fail the snipering part, which is all the camouflage and concealment, all the sneaky beaky stuff, you go back to your regiment as a marksman. But to be a sniper, you need to pass all the modules, and there's 7 modules altogether. So
now I can relate. Now we're talking. I'm at university, so now we're talking. I'm understanding now. Modules, exams. I've got ya.
Yeah.
So what are these modules, and what goes into snipering as opposed to shooting?
Well, you got your short range, mid range, long range, which you have to pass to progress onto the snipering phase.
Right.
Once you've done the sniping, goes on to the sniping phase, you got to pass your camouflage and concealment, which they call cam and con. You got to find your judging distance, which you got to do a lot of map reading. You got to do your static map. You got to do your observation, which they put loads of objects out into a field, and you've got to, look for your binoculars for a long period of time to get your eyes used to it. And it could be a little pinhead, and you need to find all these 10 objects. So yeah, there's a lot to do,
Yeah. Yeah. What are some of the most difficult circumstances that you've been in? Because as you say, like on that day where you got that longest kill, it was the perfect weather. What is the perfect weather, and what isn't? And how difficult is it when you have to deal with tough terrain?
It's not all about lying down as a sniper. If the terrain doesn't predict it and the undulating ground, you're going to have to use kneel up and do it, and you make some sticks out of broom handles or whatever's around you so you can take that shot. And the weather's a big thing. Wherever the wind's blowing, you got to judge the wind. You got to look at the trees to see what the trees are doing. It's all about being one with nature, so I say. Being one with nature. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a particular kill? Because when you were talking now, I was thinking about your I was just going back to, in my head, to your first kill and what that was like, and how you were saying that you almost felt like you were going to be in trouble. First of all, what was that first time like? Because that kind of goes against everything that you've been told as a human up to that point, right? You're not really supposed to kill other people, and now all of a sudden this is your duty.
Yeah.
What was that moment like? And also, is there any particular kill that stands out and sticks in your head? Because I know that you suffer with PTSD and stuff like that.
Yeah, the stuff that stick in my head, I don't want to really open up can of worms, But
yeah, fair enough.
I remember my last ever kill. I hit a guy holding a mortar shell, and I managed to hit the mortar shell, and it sort of killed him. Half the compound disappeared.
Wow.
The car went up in the compound. Everything just from this mortar round, And there were other insurgents in the compound as well. So I ended up taking about, I think it was 3 other insurgents out. Yeah. But you have to go down. Sometimes you got a photo, and you have to go down in PID, which is personally identify that a target's been taken out.
Right. Why'd you have to do that?
To make sure that you haven't killed the wrong person.
And if you have?
He's an insurgent, and there's inquiries that go along with that. So,
yeah. As I said, you do suffer from PTSD, and you've been open about that on various media platforms. What is PTSD, and how does it affect you? What is it? Well, I know you don't have to go into great detail on what you suffer with, but is it the guilt of taking people's lives that gets you?
Yeah, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It affects people in different ways, and my therapist said I've got to get it in my head that civilian PTSD is different than military PTSD, as in the way, mine is complex. I've got many incidents in my head. I got blown up in Afghan.
Right.
I got blown up on the 14th of December at 4:30. Remember it clear. And my driver got hit as well. We got hit by a 30-kilo anti-tank mine. I broke both my arms. I've got a brain injury from it. My hips are knackered. And
you're lucky to be alive from that.
Yeah. And I tell you what, the only getting blown up is nothing to getting shot in the helmet. And
really?
Yeah, I got shot in the helmet, and an inch lower, and I wouldn't be here now. I was in a massive contact, getting engaged from different angles, and I got shot in my body armor, in my man bag, in the strap, and I got hit in the helmet as well. My wagon got hit 136 times.
Wow.
And that's worse for me than getting blown up.
Why?
because an inch lower and I could be dead. And what if that bullet didn't kill me? I'd have a brain damage or be in a wheelchair. It's not a thing that you want to, But it's like when I got blown up, it was like my walls got broken from everything that I've seen, all the tours that I've been on, everything got shattered. That ice wall that I was holding everything, suppressing everything back, because in the army you just got to man up and get on with it, Shattered, and everything just spewed out, and I couldn't control it. And I did not spot this. My wife spotted it first.
How? How did she spot it?
Because the sex life was non-existent. My temper was bad. I was isolating myself all the time. I was sleeping all the time. I was just niggly. I was a nasty, nasty person. But I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. I thought I was all right. And then the army noticed it. My regiment noticed it because when
How did they notice?
Because when I was going on exercise, I was treating it as like I was in Afghan or Iraq.
Right.
I was taking, so when another squadron was being the enemy, I was being rough as you like with them, and yeah, I didn't realise I was being like that until I got taken to one side and said, look, this is the situation.
Why do you think you were treating the exercise like the real situation?
It's something triggers in your mind. Something triggers in your mind, like everything's real. Like I hate fireworks. It triggers.
I was going to say, that was literally my next question. Yeah.
Yeah. It triggers things in my mind. Like I'm in a firefight, so we try and stay in as much as we can. I try and wear headphones, when I'm at work because of banging. Little things set me off, But I think with everything that I've been through, mentally and physically, if it wasn't for my wife Tanya, if it wasn't for my dog Betsy, I wouldn't be here now, because I would have checked out. Yeah, checked out, and it's the only reason. Yeah.
You tell quite a moving story on the video about what, as you say there, if it wasn't for your dog Betsy, that you're actually, planning on taking your own life. If you are all right, can you tell us a little bit about that?
It was just I was in America. I was in America for a bit, and my wife went home to England to see her family, and I couldn't get hold of her. And she's always there for me. She's always on the end of the phone. Even when she works, she's there. But this particular time, I couldn't get hold of her, and it got so much for me. And I had a gun, and I was practicing where to do it, where to kill myself. And I remember my dog being on the back of the sofa, and her head just turned, as in to say, what you doing? And yeah. I sort of broke down. I put the gun down and unloaded it, and I got rid of it the next day. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you look to take, action in regards to your mental health from that point on, or were you already getting help with it?
I was already getting help from it. Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't working. How did it begin working after that? And how have things got better for you in that sense?
I struggle. I have my really, really shit days, and I have good days, and I have bad days. There's a difference, These shit days are on rock bottom, and I phone my wife up and I'm hysterical on the phone. And the shit days, I'm just depressed and I just want to be quiet. And the good days, I've just got on with it, And that's what it's about. And it's weird because I always say I've been out since 2013. I should, in my head, I think I should get over this. But
it's not as easy as that, though, is it?
No, it's not. And I think because I didn't do a full service, I did 23 years, but I got medical discharged out of the army. So I didn't leave with full colours, with full, honorary colours like you do when you do your time. I left medical discharge, and my regiment sort of just abandoned me,
Was that
And
because of your PTSD?
exactly, yeah, yeah. You're 23 years, and it takes you half hour to get kicked out. And I felt quite hurt and abandoned, and I still, still feel that now.
Yeah, that when looking up your book, The Longest Kill. By the way, we'll whack everything like that in the description so people can go and check it out. I would recommend it from the reviews online and little bits that I've read. I certainly would recommend it. From what people are reacting, when people are reacting to your book online, the biggest thing that they actually note upon is the way that it's written allows you to almost feel like you're there, and it's exciting and it's sad and it's scary and it's all this. But the biggest thing that they pick up on is the disrespect with which the army and the military treated you on your way out, if you will. What exactly happened there? Was there any conversations? Did they just ring you up and listen and be like, Craig, sorry, bud. what happened there?
Well, I got death threats when I left the army
Why is that?
because I broke the world record, and the two guys that I killed were Taliban leaders, quite high up. And when I came back to England, it got leaked to the media.
Yes, I read that. Yeah.
Yeah, it got leaked to the media through. Basically, you have your medals parade, and then the media come in and they interview you, but it's got to get censored through your regiment, and then it goes to London District Media Ops, and it gets censored again. But it never. It just went straight to print. So my name, my wife's name, my daughter's name, where I lived, everything. So we had to, and I've still got the paper clippings now. Lee Rigby, the guy, bless him, he didn't deserve what he got, but I think after that they wanted to cut my head off as well for what I'd done, and I've got the paper clippings for that, and it sort of sinks in after a while that the shit's real, and my regiment did nothing, absolutely nothing. So, yeah.
These aren't death threats from Muppets online that are going, "Oh, I don't like your video, Sander," or whatever.
No.
These are like, this is the Al Qaeda, isn't it?
Yeah. These are fundamentalists in England that want to do stuff to you. So, and my wife nearly had a breakdown over it, and it's just disgusting, how we just got left to our own devices.
Yeah, that's poor. Do you think that? How do you feel about the military now? Is that does that cover? Do you paint them all with that brush, or was it just one particular knobhead that treated you like that?
No. I think certain regiments have got a fantastic aftercare. Like the Powers have got a fantastic aftercare. The Royal Marines have got a fantastic aftercare. Special Forces have got fantastic aftercare. But some other regiments in the British Army do not know how to treat or do not know what to do with aftercare. It's like you're gone now. You're just a number. So another number will come in and sit on your seat, and you're gone. So, yeah. So it's just certain regiments are not good at what they do.
Yeah. What's it like now?
I don't know what it's like now. I don't have. I speak to my only friend. He's still serving. He's still going through PTSD. He's the only guy I talk to, but I don't really talk about the regiment. They can. Yeah. Doesn't interest me at all.
They can do one, basically, is what you mean.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I once met I literally don't know why I'm talking about this, but I once met a fella in McDonald's in London. Right, I was pissed at my head, and I was like, "Oh, you're right, pal." And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because when you kept saying regiment, he told me what regiment he was part of. I can't remember which one it was. But he shook my hand and he squeezed it really hard. I've never had a handshake that firm in my whole life, and I thought, is that like, I don't know, maybe it's down to the fella, or is he trying to prove to me that he's like some sort of alpha male, or what's going on? Do you see that a lot? What's the culture within the army like? Is it a lot of nah, I'm harder than you, or is it a little bit more relaxed?
Do you know what? It's funny you used to say things. I'm a bit of a loner, so I never really, when I was first joined the army, I used to. Because I had a sheltered childhood, I thought I was a weekend millionaire when I joined the army. You get paid at the weekend. Plus, I was in London. That was it. I was the Monopoly king. I was going out, But then once you start getting a bit of rank behind you and you become a lance corporal, and a sergeant, you get more responsibility, you become more mature. You don't really, I didn't really socialize with a lot of people. I kept myself to myself. So I never really come across sort of like the alpha male sort of like thing like that. But I was a PTI in the army as well.
What's
So
that?
people used to fuck up, just take them for a run, don't you?
Right.
And
What's
just keep
what's a PTI?
a physical training instructor.
Right. Okay.
I used to just take them for long runs, you know,
extra long runs.
extra long runs. They used to love it. They used to love it. Not.
I think Brian Chontosh, the former Marine, he was like, I can't remember what he was like, but I think he was like, right, I'm gonna box every single one of you now, and just beat the shit out of you. And he just tried to box everyone. He was some sort of leader. I can't remember, but yeah, it's quite. Is it archaic in the army?
It used to be, but you can't do anything now. You
Right.
cannot do it. It's too PC.
Is it the army's PC? Oh God.
Yeah, too PC with sexism, with racism, with everything. You know, yeah, it did go on, but these day and age, it doesn't exist anymore. And if it does, it gets stamped out pretty damn quick. So yeah, but when I joined, it was like get beyond the tank shed, and you used to get a quick slap, and he goes, right, don't do it again. And you learn by that. But you can't do it now. They went for a stage when you was in training of having cards, and you have a yellow card and a red card. And if a sergeant was shouting at you, the recruit used to get the card out and show him a yellow card. And if the sergeant kept on shouting at you, he used to get the red card out, and then the sergeant would have got disciplined for it.
Right.
But they binned it because everyone was just getting these cards out all the time, and no one was actually no one was actually achieving anything.
Mate, if there's one place that shouldn't be PC, I think it's the army. Like, I want my army members, as a mere civilian who's, not very hard. And I want my army members to be hard as nails and disciplined and all this sort of stuff. Because when push comes to shove, ultimately you need that, right? You need that toughness. Do you think that the army of today is going to suffer for that PC culture?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Definitely. Some other regiments, like the Marines, they got a good ethos, good structure. The Powers have got a good structure, because you've got certain tests that you have to pass to progress. But other regiments, the people going in now, it's just,
Fannies.
yeah.
Finally, then, I was going to say 2 questions. Do you regret it?
No.
Okay.
No, if I did it all again, I would have joined the Marines.
Okay, why is that?
Because I think their structure, and because I know ex-Marines, and they still get looked after now by their regiment, and I think what they did, they got treated like blokes. You don't get treated like children, or you didn't. You did a job. You did a job. If you were a door kicker in Afghan, you were a door kicker. You didn't get wrapped up in cotton wool, and that's what I would have done. And if I didn't join the Marines, I would have probably got a decent trade, engineers. And I say that to everyone now. Everyone that says I want to join the army, I always say get a trade, join the engineers, get a trade, because then when you're in civilian life, you got something to fall back on.
Right, yeah. Was that a big thing for you? Like, as in, right, I'm out now. I've been flicked out like a piece of scum. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one, as if like I've not done 23 years of service, and now, shit, what am I going to do now? Did you suffer?
Exactly. Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I've got a good job now, and because they deal with the military, they understand.
What do you do now?
I build the weapon system.
Right. Okay.
For Acus International. And I help them out, and they understand PTSD. They understand, and there's certain things they put in for me, so I can have like a 5-minute rest, or if things getting on top of me, I can walk away and just chill out for a bit and then come back. But if I apply for a job in ASDA, who wants an ex-soldier who did 23 years, sniper, that's all he knows. He's got fucked hips. He's got a brain injury. His hand's knackered. They're going to want him. And the people that say, yeah, we'll have him, after a month down the line, they fuck you off anyway. So, I've seen it so many times with other people, So I'm very grateful for the position I'm in now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You actually answered my last question. My last question, which I think I'm going to start asking people towards the end of these interviews, is if there's one piece of advice you'd give to anyone, what would it be? And I think would it be get a trade?
Get a trade. If they join the armed forces, if they want to join the armed forces, get a trade. And the other thing is, if have no regrets, Take your strength on others that fall behind. That's what somebody told me once. People falling behind, take your strength. And when it's time to shine, shine. And when it's time to be a grey man, be a grey man.
Got you.
Yeah.
Craig, thank you so much for coming on the show today, pal. I hope I haven't brought up too many bad things, and if I have, hopefully it's therapeutic to talk through it in some sense.
We're cool.
So
we're cool.
Thank you a lot for coming on the show, mate. Thank you a lot for your service.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it, and I mean that. I don't just say that because it's something you say to people that are in the army. I do mean that. So thank you a lot, pal. And yeah, as I said, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. We'll whack all of Craig's stuff in the description, Instagrams and the Longest Kill, specifically the book that he's written on his story. So if you guys are interested in learning more about Craig's story in depth, in a couple 100 pages, then make sure to click the link in the description and go over to Amazon and buy that. So Craig, once more, thank you, pal. And
no worries.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Ta-da.